now we've a real treat for you listeners. If you want to give yourself a giggle, probably at our expense, at 8 minutes past 9, who has come down the stairs? For those of you who don't know, we are broadcasting in central Dublin here in a place called Marconi House. Now, we're on the third floor in News Talk, but our betters in the kind of upstairs, downstairs.
It's like Downton Abbey.
Yeah, and the people who are upstairs, the lords and ladies, are all in Today FM. You know, you have the Ray Darcys, you have the Ian Dempseys, you have the Matt Coopers, and they look down their nose on us. Sometimes we have to go up there, record commercials and things like that.
We need permission to go up.
Yes, one of the people who resides upstairs and has taken the trip downstairs just this morning, but has to be gone by 25 past 9, I'm told.
Right,
something much more important to do. Mario Rosenstock.
Some of us call this place News Talk Abbey because, I mean, it is a bit intellectually superior down here. We feel like the tradesmen upstairs sometimes, even though we're the scumbags with numbers.
Is it as horrible as you'd imagine?
What? The relationship between Today FM and News Talk?
No, not at all. That relationship is fine, Mario. How are you?
Okay.
I'm really good. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Let's first of all talk about the show. You're back on the road.
Yeah, I'm back on the road, and this is a brand new Gift Grub live show. The first show was in 2009, the second show was in 2011, and this is the third show. It's 2014, and it's a brand new live show reflecting, hopefully, what's going on in Ireland and poking fun at it. And it premieres in the Olympia Theatre in April, and it goes to Limerick, Galway, Cork, Kilkenny, Wexford, and back to Dublin again. Did you see it in Wexford?
Yes, I know. I saw it in the Olympia in 2011.
Oh, that was the second one.
Yes, I saw that. I'm not old enough to have gone to the first one. And the good news is, for Christmas, my eldest daughter Ciara gave Deirdre and I, we like to go out on a Friday night. On the Friday the 26th of April, we're going to the Olympia.
Good, it's sold out.
So is it the same old material?
Yeah, it's the same old crap, yeah. Unfortunately, because I really loved the second show, and you saw the second show, so that was the show featuring things like the Vincent
Michael D and Joan
the Vincent Browne panel and
Yes.
the Flatley finale.
Yes.
Etc. And obviously I can't repeat myself.
Right.
So I'm having to come up with brand new stuff. And of course that's the challenge and the fun bit.
And is just tell me, how did the words gift grub come about? Was it a Bertie thing?
Yeah, really it was. And people ask me that all the time. Gift grub was invented in about 1999 and came from conversations that Ian and I had about this new Taoiseach that we had called Bertie Ahern, who was in power less than 9 months. And Bertie had been the leader of Fianna Fáil since 1994. I actually went to his kind of his inauguration, if you like to call it that, when he made a kind of a famous speech about being a man who was separated. And how that was, it was a kind of a tidal turn in Irish society, the fact that a Fianna Fáil leader would be just openly embraced as being, a separated man and a young man and all that sort of stuff. And then he became kind of a Blairite sort of politician, meeting the people, hanging out with, celebrities and stuff like that, not being afraid to be photographed with people. And so we came up with an idea to put this Bertie character on the breakfast show, who would kind of invidiously, if you like, cook up eggs every morning in Ian's next door kitchen. But it wasn't a photo opportunity as such, or how are you, welcome to Fianna Fáil, I'd like to to talk about our latest policies and stuff. It was like, there's nothing heavy about this. This is me cooking eggs with Ronan Keating. And so this is a very Fianna Fáil modern way of getting votes. It was like, me pictured with a celebrity. That's just what we do nowadays. And so his expression was a kind of a North Side Dublin expression, gift, meaning great or good, and grub came from his cookery item, food. So gift grub became his cookery item. We ran it for about 3 months. We ran out of recipes and celebs to cook with, and it variously morphed into the adventures of Bertie Ahern. Other characters...
Radio Roy, though, was that a separate skit?
Other characters then started encountering Ahern.
Yeah.
So Ahern, being a massive Manchester United fan, went, Joe, I'm going over to Manchester United to meet the boss. And obviously that's Ferguson. And then, of course, he encounters Roy Keane. So then you have to incarnate Roy Keane. People loved the incarnation of Roy Keane. I don't know where this little laugh came from. I think it was actually on an interview in the Late Show he did with Pat Kenny. And... Pat went, so you must be absolutely loaded now, are you? And Keane went, I wouldn't say that, Pat. And it was just kind of self-deprecating Cork chuckle, where your eyes go down, he's loaded, but he won't admit it.
Right. And
he says, so rounds of pints are on you then, Roy, are they?
Speaking of that, are you loaded yourself? Has the recession been good to you in terms of people want escapism, to have a laugh?
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny that the shows have gone extremely well over the last 5 or 6 years. By the same token, I've been fairly crushed as well by owning a house and all that sort of stuff that's probably depreciated in value. And I mean, I remember, for example, in the late 2000s or the early middle 2000s, I even, dared to take out a few investments, all of which got humiliated. So, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as a lot of people. That's not to say that I'm not very fortunate. I love doing what I'm doing, and I get well paid for it.
The Aviva ads must have been a great dig out.
Well, they're a risk.
I love them.
Thank
I love
you.
You know the last
Spot me,
one?
Bren!
No, I love the one.
Spot me, Bren!
No, and you know the one where you're on the little up and down set.
Yeah.
Gotta have a sense of humour.
Well, he's one of those characters that goes, I pretty much have life sorted, right? I'm good looking, he thinks. I'm in great shape, but unlike a lot of people, I have a sense of humour, which people like you don't, Ivan.
And the teeth whitening, it's like Chris. Chris says that gets the teeth whitened as well. Did you get them just done for that?
No,
because
they're
they
false
glisten.
teeth.
Oh,
so
right.
they're teeth put over your own teeth, and they're really white.
Mario, when someone like Jose Mourinho comes along, do you have a eureka moment, or is it a slow burner?
No.
That was eureka.
Yeah,
Someone
basically,
like
sometimes you're handed a gift on a plate, and it was about 2000 and I think it was about 2006. And me and Ian, who's a Chelsea fan, were just listening to this guy, and Ian goes, we're just sitting in the office and go, have you thought about Jose? I mean, he's just so... And I mean, I just came out with, what do you mean have I thought about Jose? Of course. Everybody's thinking about Jose, including Jose. I'm thinking about me right now. I'm looking at you, but I'm thinking of me. And something about the tone or timbre of my voice fitted into the kind of of his. And so that's a eureka moment for me when I find out that my voice is actually related to his voice. And then, but the key thing to making Jose funny, if you can, was what would we do with him? So we just do his voice, la la la. So we had a thing to turn him into a kind of a slightly Latino lounge singer. And that we came up with that first song that he did, Jose, in his amazing Technicolor overcoat.
Speaking of songs, you've gone viral with your latest song.
The Garth Brooks one. Yeah. Again, you just, look, I do stuff every week. Some stuff bounces, some stuff doesn't. And this Garth Brooks thing, because it kind of piggybacked on the sale of the tickets in Croke Park, jumped out, and people really like it. And I think it's approaching 200,000 views now, and since last week.
I know people, when you meet the real Joan Burton or the real Bertie and all of that, how they react to is a question you're always asked. But the team here were reminding us of a story because we're all in the same building, as you've established, Marconi House, and we were expecting the then Taoiseach Brian Cowan on this programme, and you were, well, I don't know if you were getting coffee or something, but you stepped into the lift alongside
that was a frightening experience.
Our team and Brian Cowan.
Basically, I was getting into the lift downstairs in reception, and it was one of those moments like a film where the lift closes, but then a foot comes in on the door. Foot comes in on the door. Man, I didn't really recognise got into the lift with Brian Cowan. So then I'm there, 3 of us are in the lift, heads down, and it's only a 20-second journey. I said, I'm not going to say anything just in case I blow it. But he says something just as we're going to get out of the lift. He looks up at me and goes, I'm giving you some Nolan material these days, what? And I don't know what came out of me, but I just said, yes, Taoiseach, you're the gift that just keeps on giving. I am. And this was in the absolute maelstrom of the morass that we were in. And he actually found time to have a sense of humour. I found that greatly admirable, and it does tally with stuff you've heard about him before. He's very engaging and quite clever and witty and quick off the blocks.
Anyone who was a bit thick with you, though? Is there anyone else?
There are a few stories. I mean, in the early days especially, people go, who the hell is that guy think he is taking? Or Ronan Keating was one that came out. We did a sketch where Louis Walsh wanted to turn Ronan Keating into a Hollywood star. Ronan had already said, quite famously in Irish television, that he was going to run for the presidency at some stage in his life. And Louis was there. Ronan, I really think you're going to make it in Hollywood. You're going to be a huge film star, Ronan. So we picked up on this, and then we sent Ronan to Hollywood, where he didn't become a film star but ended up in a porn movie where he played a dishwasher repairman. And he was there, fair play, I'll fix that dishwasher. And they're, yeah, baby. And anyway, apparently he took umbrage with this and he went, look, I'm doing a lot of good things for Ireland, I'm like an ambassador for this country. Who does that guy think he is, slagging me off? But he was only 22 or 23 at the time, and I think his friends probably told him, listen, Ronan, it's better to be on the radio than not be on the radio. The guy is celebrating you by being on it. Other guys who took...
Some people you actually do better than the original, like Vincent Browne.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a series.
The way you look into the
Well, yes, obviously it's a series of
Huge.
very huge, extraordinary umbrage of you, Ivan Yates. I'm never allowing you to present my show again on this television. It's Sam Smith all the way, as far as I'm concerned.
What about Joan Burton?
but the lingering look that you give to camera, just
you
at
can't
the
do
end
that
of
on
the
the
tape.
radio. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's come to bed with me eyes.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
It's basically because he knows his demographic. There's a lot of over 60s there, and he's going, I know you like what you're seeing, ladies.
Yeah.
There's something quite erotic about it.
Yeah.
He has come to bed with me eyes.
Does he take it well?
Is this to do with an impression or what?
No. Does he get insulted?
Oh, does he get insulted? Does he get insulted? Listen, Vincent, I met Vincent in the Westbury Hotel, and he went, I'm thinking of asking you to do a series. By the way, I saw you on television during Michael Flatley, and you were extraordinarily funny. I want you to do a series of impressions on my show, would you? And I said, yeah, no problem, just as long as I can do you. And he went, do me? I couldn't give a bollocks if you do me. And sorry about the language. And he went, I just want you to do Willie O'D. So he just wanted me to skewer Willie O'D and Micheál Martin and all these people. And then after the first episode, it turned out that Vincent actually was the star of the sketches. And everybody was texting in going, we love the dirty look, we love the evil look. And he had no interest in his own, in the impression I was doing of me whatsoever. He went, I don't care, just do more Willie O'D. Which reminded me that he's one of the people who I've done who don't seem to have a sense of vanity, funnily enough, about when you do them. He's very concerned with his own show and that it gets good ratings, and he wants to be successful. But as to his own, for example, if I did him naked, I don't think he'd care. He just he's
actually got a very good sense of humour.
He's got a great sense of humour, but he doesn't really care how much I mock him.
Yeah.
It's more, is the programme going to be successful, and is the stuff on Willie O'D and Micheál Martin funny?
So you have in the last year had Joan Burton swinging. I don't know if she was naked or not, but she was on a wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
The screeching is very harsh.
Well, you see, people sometimes...
Like, if I was Joan, I wouldn't like it.
People sometimes ask me, do you go for accuracy in your impersonations? And sometimes yes, and sometimes no. So, with Joan, what I tend to do is, I remember went for a walk on Dollymount Strand, and I heard a group of seagulls above me, and that's what inspired me to do Joan Burton. And when I'm doing Joan Burton, it's more of a kind of a caricature or a kind of an impression of Joan Burton than the real Joan Burton, who actually has a much lower voice than that. But I did encounter her person to person. She came to see the show you saw, and she sat in the audience at night time in a pair of shades. And
Did she really?
Yes.
Did she really?
And I came out and I went, there's somebody in the fourth row in shades. Why? And I had a good look and I went, oh my God, it's Joan! Hi, Joan!
Poor
and she actually,
Joan.
No, she grabbed it by the neck and she went, hi, Mario! And then, of course, everybody looked back on her and it was a Joan off for a few minutes.
But I have to say, at the end of the show, what you did about Flatley, you did this song about Flatley that was just cruel.
The song?
Yeah, well, just you did. And sorry, Krista Burgh was there the night I was there.
Yes.
And like it was just his vanity.
Yes.
You just destroyed him. And he was up there in the little boxes watching it.
He called the show beforehand, and the stage manager came in and went, Mario, Krista Burgh is on the phone. He wants to know if he can come to the show. And I went, absolutely, give him 2 free tickets. Put him in a box. And he went, no, he doesn't want free tickets. He wants to pay for the tickets himself. And I went, okay, bring him in. And he said, I said to Chris, now Mario doesn't go easy on you. He goes quite hard on you. And Chris said to me, don't worry, I have the greatest sense of humour in the world. And that was the show
I
you
even
saw.
squirmed on his behalf there. It was so bad. What were the lyrics of that song? It was done to the Red...
Lady in Red.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it's
what
like,
was it?
I'm all right, Jack. I'm doing just fine. Just ordered my collection of vintage wine to the ATM machine. La 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 la. Just to see how much I've got. It was the idea. We've seen a few things in newspapers that there was like you'd see this newspaper headline going 200,000 unemployed, 400,000 unemployed, man loses job, man loses business, and a tiny box on the front page. Krista Burgh sells his collection of vintage wine for 200 grand, and you're there. Right, somebody's missing the point here. Does Chris live in an ulterior kind of universe where, Mm-hmm. And so it was reflecting the idea that in a world which is very straitened by economic circumstances, Chris is just having a great time and a ball. But
now, one man who has gone to a much higher plane over your period of performance is Michael D. Have you pulled back a bit now that he is our august president?
Well, not all, because I think Michael D actually took the liberty of going on the radio on your competitor. Matt Cooper, and he described Mario Rosenstock as a great artist.
Which I laughed uproariously at. But of course, I was on the Late Late Show on Friday, and I was trying to outline to Ryan these kind of 4 areas of Michael D that I see. So there's the formal area of Michael D, which is well able to appear on a radio show and speak about politics and anything you want, homophobia if you wish, anything, don't mention the word. Then there is the kind of earthy Michael D, which can appear at a Galway United football match and tell the referee that was a blatant clear foul, right? Then there is the kind of foreign affairs Michael D, who appeared famously on
almost swans around.
Well, no, the foreign affairs Michael D, who went to America, and then when he came back from America, talked about his journey to America and kind of adapted an American accent, talking about Kansas and going to Alabama and talking about Sarah Palin. And recently, before Christmas, he went to Mexico, and after 3 days he was talking about having jalapenos and enchiladas with Pablo Fuentes and drinking mucho tequila.
Now, as you know, the foremost broadcaster in this entire building and my own mentor is the
George Hook.
Correct.
Yeah, but I mean,
He's going to recreate radio.
He's going to recreate. He's going to eventually overcome Matt Cooper, even if it's in the coffin. And he's not going to let Pat get near him, because Pat is not the top dog in this building. I am.
Do you think he's a bed blocker? Chris thinks he's a bed blocker.
A beta blocker.
He's lost his teeth, he's lost his hair, he's lost his... he's got erectile dysfunction. Is it time for George to quit? Or are you like me thinking radio gold, like George, is just inimitable?
Well, I think Matt Cooper is radio gold personally, but George is he has that avuncular, likeable kind
Ali
of
Kadu,
curmudgeonly line kind of thing going on. And I think he's got great appeal. I mean, George's career is growing, and he's growing in stature all the time.
And the fact that
the person describes himself as a fat, balding, toothless, erectile dysfunctioned Ali Kadu, it makes him almost unimpeachable.
But in a world where vanity, reigns supreme in the media and so on, and people are full of their own importance, to have someone who is so self-deprecating surely is good.
It is a wonderful thing. And of course, being 6'3" or 4, I wouldn't say any of these things around him in person anyway.
Now, do you do Kenny much?
Pat or Enda?
Oh, I meant Enda.
Enda, of course I do Enda. I do Enda as a kind of a sort of the boxing sort of boom sort of lad. And this morning's gift grub, actually Kenneth Egan was hired for Fine Gael, which was quite interesting. So vote Kenny Egan. Do you want to get off of me is my campaign slogan. So so he's been around for a few years, Ivan. You obviously not seen as many of my shows as you think.
But the point is there anyone you won't do?
I found a difficulty doing lots of people. I remember I found a difficulty doing Michael Noonan at the beginning, and he was one of the ones I had to study for about 3 weeks to try and get some sense of his voice.
And you turned him into a menace.
Yeah, I think a little bit, yeah. And I think I started off kind of going up there when I was doing about 2002 doing Michael Noonan. And now in the last quite while I've ended up down there, and it's extremely, extremely whispery. Almost as if I don't want people to hear the bad news that sometimes I've had to say. So,
speaking of the good news, the tour starts on the 24th of April. Are they sold out the first go in the Olympia? There's 3 nights in the Olympia.
3 nights opening in the Olympia, and they're pretty much sold out. And you
go back then to the Olympia the 14th, 15th, 16th of May.
That's right.
And 17th.
Yep.
There's no limit to how much you're going to earn out of this. Now, you go around the country and you go to Limerick 3 nights, you go to Galway, Wexford, only 1 night in Wexford. That'll be packed in. It's a beautiful building, the Opera House there.
Yeah.
And tell me...
Then I'm moving straight to Swansea.
Yes, well, I'd recommend that. You want to develop the Welsh accent a bit.
No, it's to
Cork
protect my
Opera
cash.
House. Cork Opera House. You're doing 5 nights in the... 6 nights, is it? 5 nights in the Cork Opera House.
5 nights in Cork Opera House.
There's plenty of... Do you change the material from one part of the country to the other?
Yeah, I do. So in other words, 80%, let's say 75% of the show is rock solid, and then about 25% of the show is altered for wherever I am.
Okay.
So I'm going to really alter a lot of it for Cork and Limerick and Galway.
I was told we had to... It's now 9:28, so you must be gone.
Yeah.
You're going up to do a bit more work?
I am indeed, yeah.
I thought you finished around half 9.
No, stay until about 4 o'clock.
Just before you go, you said you're a Chelsea fan?
Yes.
Man City?
No, I'm a Liverpool fan.
Sorry, Ian's the Chelsea fan.
Ian's
Is he?
Chelsea,
Okay, because we've got a Man City fan here, so I just thought if you had anything you wanted to say to him before you left.
Not really. I'm not a Chelsea fan myself, so I'll take it easy on him.
All right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
is there a website that people can access information in relation to?
MarioRosenstock.ie.
Okay.
And
okay. We wish you every continued success. Keep entertaining the nation. We're certainly fans, and thanks for joining us on News Talk Breakfast.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ivan.